What? Hi everyone, Anthony Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd. And it's time for a review of the new Frost Children album, Hearth Room. This is a new album from Frost Children, the sibling music duo consisting of Angel and Lulu, who have been busily releasing music together since about the start of the decade, and managed to make a splash earlier this year with their most talked about album yet, Speedrun, which was a pretty bold, fun, and versatile combination of rock, electro house, electro pop, electro clash, and hyperpop too, really throwing all these genres together in the most chaotic and queer way possible. But it also felt like the duo's most defining characteristics were coming together in a way that was more palatable and poppy than on that of their more grating and roughly produced albums that came before it. And after putting out Speedrun, the duo could have easily rested, taken a break, or even go further down this electro pop combination rabbit hole. But they actually came back around quick instead, like a boomerang, and going in a different direction too, as Hearth Room here is a lot more of an indie pop rock singer-songwriter blend with aesthetic touches that feel lifted out of a 2000s era teen flick or a sweet flirty top 40 radio hit from about 20 years ago. Take the song Not My Fault, for example, with its crisp acoustic guitars, punchy snares, chunky bass, cute synth leads, tight vocal harmonies, as well as quirked up lyrics like "I'm a regular girl who fell apart in your irregular world." How is this song not just like establishing shot Disney teen dramedy where the protagonist most definitely plays in a pop-punk band? The opening track, Lethal, feels like it's coming from a similar era too. In this scene, the protag is most definitely looking at their crush, who they are way too shy to go up and say hi to. If I had a spine, you'd be mine. Perfectly soundtracked with these intimate acoustic passages, as well as a fiery and blazing, soaring guitar solo bridge, with passionate harmonized vocal layers to boot, screaming out, "You'll never know how much I get you." There are more touches of emo and indie rock deeper into the record too, like some of the Midwest guitar lines on the track Birdsong, which is also a lovely ballad that feels like a combination of Pixies, but then also a unicorn song from another dimension, with a lot of sweet and surreal specific lyrics making a lot of nature references. Get a whiff of the moonlight smog, you smell like a sweet bird song, the scent of dew on a sleeping frog. I don't mind hearing a pretty clear unicorn's influence as well on the song Bernadette, whose electronic perks and keys make a great combination with these colorful chamber strings. The emo energy returns once again on the track Stare at the Sun, which is more rockin' and is loaded with all of this angular guitar work. Very lick heavy, very mathy. Whole track builds up to a fiery finish too. One thing I want to highlight about this track and many others, regardless of what genre or set of styles Frost Children are operating in, a lot of the lyrics on this record are just lovey-dovey, extremely endearing, dripping with an oozing sentimentality. These, for the most part, are love songs, which has a bit more of a rough and tumbled energy to it, some guitar strumming and kind of fuzzed out, oversaturated leads that feel like something off of a Velvet Underground song. Meanwhile, the lyrics once again are dealing in love, but it's a love that acknowledges how weird and twisted it is. So I guess there are some narrative dynamics here. It's not all like, "Ooh, I have a crush on you." In my heart of hearts, though, I don't know if I'm as crazy about this stylistic direction or change of pace as I am, the more chaotic and maybe club-centric work and pop stuff off of the previous Frost Children album. But by that same token, I am a sucker for consistency as well as good songwriting, and Frost Children definitely bring both on this record. It's also their most mature project yet, where they really flex their traditional pop songwriting skills, which I think is a hard challenge to pull off without resulting in an album that is just bland, boring, soulless, and marketable. Especially, again, coming off a record like Speedrun that is as wild and as out there as it is. But while there are a lot of mellow moments on this record, I wouldn't say they're lacking in personality or bite. There are maybe only a few tracks here that I would level that criticism at, be it Frost Park, which I think is the greatest offender, or even the closer to a lesser degree, which sounds like an explorative psych folk meditation more than it does a formal song. Again, this record is not nearly as explosive as the previous one from this duo, but it still has a lot of catchy songs and bold and fun ideas in it, like the cool lyrical back and forth happening on Oats from a Mug, or even the cerebral spoken word track Bob Dylan, which on the surface sounds like it's the beginning of one of those forced, meaningful Midwest emo spoken word interlude, intro, whatever. But the commentary on this track actually ends up being more about commercialism and art, being told through Bob Dylan putting out a new album, and his music is being advertised near like a billboard of Jack Harlow promoting a sweet green salad. Frost Children then go on to posit that being transgressive, in this context anyway, is actually not that punk, and the punkest thing you could do is sell out and hawk that salad, which is maybe a serious point. Maybe they're kind of taking the piss. Either way, it's entertaining. But this combined with the sort of directionless closing track doesn't necessarily make for the strongest outro, and that combined with a few bland moments here and there does take the wind out of this album sales a bit. But for the most part, I thought the majority of tracks on this thing were great, were sweet, loving, and also a really successful shift away from the sound of their past couple of records. And yeah, the level of versatility and focus and just hard work to come out with this album really not too long after the last one, and for them to operate in totally different worlds aesthetically, emotionally, musically, it's impressive. Which is why I'm feeling a strong 7 to a light 8 on this one. Transition, have you given this record a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video you can check out. Hit that upworthy link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano. Frost Children, forever.